Hello, thanks for taking the time to hang out with me and Sophina this afternoon. My name's Laura Twemlow. I am Head of Belonging at People Make It Work. We are an organisational development consultancy working with arts and cultural organisations across the UK to help them change, transform and develop. And as part of People Make It Work, we have an incredible community of associates who bring with them a range of skills, insights, and practices that will enable us to support arts and cultural organisations in a range of challenges and pieces of work. And today I'm joined by Sophina Jagot, and together we're going to explore her insights and practices and the types of work that she loves doing. So thanks, Sophina. Thanks for being here. Um, why don't we just start off with you telling everyone a bit about yourself and the types of work that you love doing?
Thank you so much, Laura, for having me here. Well, firstly, just love to say that it has been so great working with People Make It Work, and really appreciate a chance to talk a bit more about you. It's always joyful um, working together. Um, so your question was, what work do I love doing? Um, I would say that I think the big thing for me is like making space for people to be their authentic selves. I think that is something that I discovered kind of early on, well, kind of midway through my career. I've always known that I love being creative. I've always known that I love working with people. But I would say that the turning point for me was actually when I took some time out, kind of after sort of completed the marketing part of my career. And I don't know if you've heard of Simon Sinek's program, Start With Why.
Yeah.
Um, I decided to take some time out and self-fund and put myself on that program. And it was a really interesting experience. You basically really unpick your background, your experiences. They have like a section where you effectively map the highs and lows of your life experience, and not just work, just everything. So starting with your first memory up until current day, and then as a part of that, you map the highs and lows, and you spot themes. And I say all that to say, through that program, the kind of key why statement that came out for me was to advocate social inclusion, and create spaces for people to be their authentic selves. And I feel like that's been really true in when I feel most enriched, most excited, when I'm collaborating, when I'm seeing, I don't know, an idea spark, or things come to fruition. And so that could be things like when you and I work together on leadership programs. That can be when I've been working with artists on helping them, like volunteering my time to help them write a funding application for like Arts Council. Um, and it's like facilitation as well. So, but I think I really think that taking that time to understand a bit more about what motivates me in a really intentional way has been really valuable. Um, what was really interesting as well, actually, with the Start With Why program is, as well as the whys and the why statement that you get from it, it also then gives you some space to work out the hows. And so when I was working that through, for me, it the things that came up was using arts, culture, science, nature, sport, and play to spark connection and improve mental well-being, to embrace new ideas, look at the big picture, and create space to enable others. Um, as a woman of color, and my external view, and what that brings to understanding how we interact in the world, what feminism can look like from that perspective. Um, One that was really big that I didn't have the language for at the time was a catalyst for understanding privilege in colonial history and how that impacts today. And then the last one was say and do the things that I believe, even when no one was looking. And so this became like a really good tool for me so whenever there were opportunities that I was interested in, Like, did it tick the boxes of one of the why or one of the hows? And then do I have capacity? So that became something that I did on a very intentional way. And then as I've got progressed further, it's kind of become sort of inherent in how I guess identify where I can be best placed to support and work with other organizations. Um, but yeah, so I would say like the things that I love doing are like enabling others. I love as a creative practitioner, I'm a poet, I'm a spoken word artist, I'm a writer, and I was fortunate enough to get funding last year to create a my first children's book and an associated music album, which I know we want to talk about later. But actually, that experience of an as a creative is a thread that comes through the other parts of my professional world. So, like using creativity to kind of reimagine and build what leadership can look like and what organizations look like. Um, and something that I think really surprised me as I got older was like um, getting real satisfaction about processes and creating simplicity. And I really thought like my younger self just saw myself as a creative and like wanting to stay away from that. But as I'm sure as you feel this as a marketer as well, there's something about like going through and working in marketing for so long that you build these processes and these plans and these structures that make the space for the creativity to grow and expand. So I would say those are the things. And I think for me, like compassionate leadership is hugely, hugely important in the way that I like to operate, in the spaces that I like to be and build. And compassionate leadership does look like the kind of softer, holistic part. And it's also accountability. And it's also, creating the structures and then following through with what we're saying that we're doing. So I think sometimes when people hear the phrase compassionate or compassionate leadership, they might think it's like soft. And yes, there is a humanity to it,
Yeah.
but it's the hard stuff, right? Like I remember seeing once this phrase like easy conversations hard life, hard conversations easy life, and we have to move through the hard, lean into it to be able to build these spaces that especially in this world right now we really want to see. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a bit about some of the work I love doing.